The most important missing piece to most people's lives with their dogs is fulfillment for their dog. Constantly, people want to focus on just walking the dog, walking the dog, walking the dog. They'll go to parks, they'll leave the dog on the leash, walk around, kind of little stop by as they just walk the dog. And unfortunately, the walk, generally speaking, isn't enough. Your dog is a natural born athlete. Yes, some dogs are thicker than others, but they still are very athletic. Even your English bulldogs, your French bulldogs, these are still athletic dogs. They may not have the stamina of, let's say, a lab or a cattle dog, but they still have explosive energy that needs to get out. And this is why we need to do more than just solely think about walking the dog. So what is fulfillment? Fulfillment, in my opinion, is satisfying the natural needs and desires of the dog. What does that mean? I think it means chasing, sniffing, exploring, uh, practicing catching prey. These are all things that are natural to the dog. And when we can actually provide these type of outlets for the dog, it's going to satisfy their more natural needs as an animal. Yes, when we go walking, the dog gets to move, they get to migrate per se, right? But generally speaking, when people are walking their dog, they have an expectation of the dog walking beside them. And even then, when we do let the dog just go and sniff, we're in a constant state of following the dog, and the dog is just sniffing without any real purpose or direction, which just leads the dog to having a more of an amped up mind instead of it becoming more relaxed. Now, people will talk about sniffaris where they just let the dog sniff around, and that's great and all, but again, it is not actually engaging their mind in anything. They're just moving and you're following the dog. What I find to make this activity more satiating for the dog is if you're out in a field and you're moving around and the dog has to be aware of your presence. They're able to sniff and move, but yet they are moving with you. Maybe they're 20, 30 feet behind you, but as you get farther away, they catch up to you. There is still, their mind is not just smelling aimlessly. They're having to focus on something while doing this other activity. That is more mentally taxing for the dog than I feel just having him sniff and you follow for that 20 minutes. Likewise, if we're playing with the dog, right? If I'm playing fetch with the dog, yes, you can tire the dog out physically by just constantly throwing the ball. But if you're actually putting some rules into the game, so where it's like, hey, now is the time to go chase. Get it, throw the ball. They get this cue, so they're having to use their brain, but yet they're also able to practice the chase. And again, the same type of thing with tug. If we can play tug with our dog, but yet have our rules in place where they're having to think about these kind of things, but they're able to get to use their natural instincts of, yeah, I got to catch this thing and I'm going to shake it. Oh, I'm killing my prey, right? You can tap into these natural needs of the dog, but yet still have control over them. And again, when you do that, it's going to be more mentally taxing, right? I think these are going to be very good ways to fulfill your dog's needs. And ultimately, the best way to do any of these things is to let them off the lead, right? If your dog can't be trusted off the leash, you need to use a long line. But the goal should be to get your dog off the leash so they can move freely. You can play tug freely, you can play fetch freely, they can wander around and follow you freely. This also gives them opportunities to actually chase something. I don't mind my dog chasing squirrels because I can call her away from that. And that to me is also something very helpful for her, just to be able to, I'm going to go practice this. And more so when it's she's in the time frame of yeah, you can do whatever you want. You want to go chase the squirrels, go chase the squirrels. But I can also be if I'm walking with her, ignore the squirrels, right? Well, she's like, okay, guess we're walking right now. And so that is going to be certain ways you can help to fulfill your dog's needs. And perhaps you don't have a park nearby, so you got to go walk around on a leash. I find using a retractable leash is much more beneficial than using your standard 6-foot lead. You can let your dog move out, sniff. If they hang back, you go keep going. They're going to come around and catch up to you because they're still having to pay attention, but they're able to do more of what they want to do. And you have the added benefit of asking for a fixed position, a standard traditional, hey, heel, walk with me. You can reinforce these type of behaviors, but still allow the dog to move around. They can sniff, move, explore while you're walking. And especially if you have young children, like this is a great way to be able to move at a slower pace, but yet have your dog have the freedom to be able to move around more. Again, these things take practice, and you can also mix in your obedience so you can get the dog thinking and they're not just acting on autopilot. And so before we start thinking about obedience work and all of these kind of things that we think about with traditional dog training, ask yourself, is my dog fulfilled? Is she able to express herself and feel that her natural needs and desires are fulfilled before we can start adding in our more human influenced needs of the dog, right? It's great to have obedience, great to have that type of communication with her, with them, I should say. My dog's a female. But it's like, do we can establish that once the dog is fulfilled. And through the fulfillment, providing these outlets for the dog, we're going to really create this really nice relationship that we go out and we do these things with our dog. We fulfill their needs. That comes through us in a sense, which is going to help teaching obedience a whole lot easier because the dog is going to be more apt to want to work with us. We're not imposing something on them when they're not ready for it. If you have a rambunctious dog that doesn't listen to you and never has, and then you go to try to teach them obedience, it's going to be more challenging than if you are having done the work of like, yeah, we go out, we satisfy your needs first, and then we start working. If you have that whole part of like satisfying their needs done first, you're going to have a good relationship that you can start to really build off with the obedience. And I think it's going to be a whole lot easier for you. So if you're getting into dog training, the first thing you need to think about is fulfilling your dog's needs. That's going to give them just it's going to give them exercise. It's going to give them mental and physical exercise, which is going to help them relax a whole lot more in the house. And then it's also going to take away that really just that amped up energy. That's going to make teaching obedience a whole lot easier. So get your dog out, fulfill their needs. It's going to make them a whole lot happier, and it's probably going to make you a whole lot happier with your dog.